Schelosky, and today I wanted to tell you all a little bit about the research I've been doing at Liggett for our academic research program. As most of you that know me know that I am a figure skater and that my life pretty much revolves around it. Because figure skating has been a main part of my life for so long, I knew I wanted to choose a topic about it for my ARP program. I have been competing in ladies' individual competitions for 10 years now and continue to do so as a senior lady competitor at 18 years old. I have competed in 6 regional championships and 1 sectional competition as a senior lady this past year and traveled around many states for competitions. I've even had the pleasure of visiting Colorado for an invite-only jump camp at the U.S. Figure Skating Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. I've dedicated over 10 years of my life to skating and put it as a priority over everything else, as many competitive skaters often do. This led to my fascination with the sport as I dove deeper into potential topics to research. Along with being a competitive skater, I have been coaching private lessons for a year now and coaching young skaters for 4 years. I personally have had the experience of skating under many various coaches throughout my years in training and continue to do so. I have taken lessons from coaches from many different rinks and backgrounds, as well as different areas of expertise. I am always looking for more ways to understand the sport and mental as well as physical health that revolves around it. Throughout my years in training, I have experienced many different coaching techniques and attitudes that I have learned affected me in different ways. I have also been to seminars about sports psychology to learn more about the mental toll of figure skating. I decided that my research question would be, how can coaching and training activities be best deployed to service an athlete who is faced with emotional and physical demands from figure skating? Throughout all of this research, I have learned that this is what I want to pursue as my career in life. I'm going to attend Wayne State University and study sports psychology and nutrition. As well as that major, I am planning on continuing to coach athletes as my career. My goal is to be a professional figure skating coach and sports psychologist, traveling to different rinks, doing seminars in sports psychology and nutrition. I am also planning on offering personal psychology services for skaters at the rink. This ARP project made me realize what I wanted my future to look like and decide to create my own personal coaching philosophy with a goal that my students are receiving the best coaching and training activities to benefit them and help them reach their peak performance. To jump deeper into the research behind the project, throughout an athlete's life, one of the main areas of importance is their coach. In an individual sport, a primary coach can be the making or breaking point for an athlete. Over the past year and a half, I have conducted research on different coaching philosophies and studying the most effective coaching and training activities to best service an athlete. The main purpose of this study was to determine how coaching and training activities can be deployed to best service to an athlete who is faced with emotional and physical demands from figure skating. Multiple coaches were interviewed and asked to share their particular stories. All answered in detail the exact way they believe a student should be treated to reach their maximum peak in performance, as well as stay there. The coaches shared information on how to be with an athlete through physical and emotional challenges that come along with the sport, as well as how to keep students interested in such a demanding sport. All coaches and many skaters were addressed and asked questions as well as pertaining to their own personal experience with these coaching techniques. They all have unique stories and insights on different perspectives from different coaches and rinks. Therefore, these results supported the conclusion that though each athlete responds differently to commands and techniques, athletes respond better to a particularly equal criticism to compliment ratio. After completing and conducting research, I have decided to document my own coaching philosophy. To go into detail on my philosophy, I broke different key points into separate sections. To start, I have the difference. As a coach, it is critical to understand before anything that every single student you will teach is different. There is no identical student that every single technique and attitude you show them will have the same effect. Certain students need to be treated stricter. They will not respond to nice comments rather than begin to take the lesson as a joke. If the skater is not putting in the effort, they will need a less friendly coach. They will need a push to get them going and pushing themselves. Other students can tend to be particularly hard on themselves. They will push themselves almost too hard, making the coach the person that needs to make sure they stay calm and don't overdo it. It is critical to learn how the student acts and responds to things. You need to learn how the student takes criticism, how the student responds to falling, or responds to a risky, more difficult request. After you learn specifically about your student is when you can use their personality traits to help them improve. You will need to know what gets your student motivated and what will put them down. Every coach must know when to push a student to help him pass an apparent physical or emotional barrier. It is important to understand that between lesson to lesson, you will have to switch and treat each skater accordingly to their personalities. You will need to learn the skater's personal goals and relationship with the sport. To learn the type of skater your student wants to be, at the start of each competitive season, you can do things as in survey your athletes to determine their goals for this training season. You can have your athletes create a list of words or phrases that describe the kind of athlete they want to be this season. Ask your athletes to write one page that indicates the changes they want to implement, as well as meet with your student to review their progress throughout the season. You can't want success for your student more than they do. They must develop the discipline and passion themselves to be successful. Following that, we have ratios 1-to-1. The main technique that is found to positively affect a student to reach their maximum performance, mentally and physically, is performing a 1-to-1 ratio. The coach will give a student a compliment of what was executed well, and then follow it up with a critique. This compliment to criticism ratio will keep a skater confident to keep trying, knowing that he or she is performing something well and willing to try again to fix his or her mistakes. There needs to be strictness to make a skater put in 100% effort consistently, and know that they need to properly respect you as their coach. After the lesson, if the skater was truly putting in all of their effort, make sure you let them know that they did well and that you appreciate it. Try to motivate skaters with positive energy and praise them when they work hard for something and then achieve it. Giving one positive feedback of something the student did very well, even if stretching the truth a little bit, and then give one correction of something that needs to be worked on for us to try again. Giving corrections in this order takes the sting out of the negative correction and makes the skaters want to improve. Most skaters are very hard on themselves, therefore if positive comments are not made as well as a correction, it can have a negative effect on their success, which can lead to frustrations and quitting. It is very important for the skater to practice positive self-talk and visualization. Being negative can really affect a skater, especially at a competition level. If you're only giving negative feedback of things they are not doing well, then they will begin to get more nervous. Telling a skater that they are fast, strong, and able is always going to result in a better outcome. Coaches being too tough on skaters in competition warm-ups always results in the skater going out and bombing everything. That coach's nervous energy has resulted in poor performance from an athlete. Being tough during coaching sessions is one thing, but once you get to a competition, you always need to be positive to make the skater feel confident to perform well. It is too late to give corrections if they are not prepared. Next up, we have passion. The best way to keep skaters interested in the sport is to start them off by having a lot of fun when they are young, and then feeding onto that so they want to skate and be at the rink every single day. The ultimate goal should be set, and then smaller goals like yearly, monthly, weekly, daily goals, and even goals for the session. The smaller goals will give the skater a sense of accomplishment while working towards their ultimate goal. One technique is using rewards with younger skaters. A young student can earn a small reward at the end of their lesson if they were good throughout the session. This can help create that love for skating when they are young, which carries them into their preteens and teens, and then their love for skating never leaves. Our second to last section is actions. It is very important to understand that your actions have a huge impact on a skater as well. When a skater attempts something, the actions you partake in during your corrections will affect a skater. Make sure not to imitate poor or bad skating positions. I believe that makes a student feel that they are being made fun of. Rather than imitate, always say exactly how it needs to be done and show the correct position they need to be hitting, or videotape them to show them how they look. Personally, I find that a simple video of the element works wonders to show the skater the issue and what needs to be changed. They will be able to clearly see what they did and what they need to fix without feeling attacked or embarrassed. I find many times when a coach imitates a skater and what they have messed up, they over-exaggerate majorly, and it seems to upset skaters more than help. Breaking down skills and then building them up again is important when a skater needs a refresher. Often showing someone the difference between what you're seeing and what you want to see will be illuminating. Basic technique is very important for developing the building blocks as you move to more and more difficult elements. Our last section is respect. I broke this up into two parts, to coach and to student. For to coach, a student should have complete respect for their coach. They need to understand that the coach is not a friend and still is a figure of authority. There should be no talking back and no fighting against the coach. From the beginning, the student should know to be on time, prepared, and ready to work hard. A coach that continuously gets disrespected and cannot get a student to push themselves will drop that student. It is the coach's choice whether or not they want to coach a student. There should be just a fine line between a coach being friends with their students. They should be open with each other, but a skater always needs to know his or her place, and that respect should always be enforced towards the coach. They should listen and do what is asked in order to ensure that they are doing what they can to reach their maximum peak performance level. And for to student, when a coach has to be tough, they must also be constructive and instructive. A coach must show respect for his or her students and never insult, degrade, or publicly humiliate a student. The point of corrections is to help the skater improve and not make them upset. There is a very tricky edge of helping the skater and making them want to give up. As a coach, it is important to understand that fine line and know when a skater has had enough. A coach should never throw out unnecessary comments to a skater. A coach may find it easy to follow up criticism with rude comments. Those comments will only lead to frustration and negativity, eventually ending in a skater losing their passion for the sport. It is important for a coach to help develop a love for skating by making it fun while the skater is still young. If a coach can reach that level, they then need to ensure that the love never leaves the student with the effective balances between fun and work. The most successful skaters are those who enjoy the sport most, not those who are pushed excessively by parents or coaches. As long as the skater is providing the effort, listening, and trying to do the things asked of them, there is no reason for any instructor to be constantly heavy handed. On the other hand, it is just as important to ensure that you are not the skater's best friend. You should not be too personal or too close with the skater, where they will begin to treat you as a peer rather than a coach. It is important to keep skating fun and flexible while seeing that a large effort is being put in. I think that a coach's attitude is immensely influential on the tone and quality of the practice on the ice. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my research.